Have you ever thought about, like, what it would be like to design your own universe? Like, you could set all the rules and then just, sit back and watch to see what kind of life evolves.
Wow.
That's kind of the big idea behind um, artificial life research.
Yeah.
But the problem is testing every possibility takes, like, forever.
Right.
And so that's where the research we're diving into today gets really interesting.
Yeah.
It's all about using AI to speed up the search for um, new and unexpected forms of, well, artificial life.
Yeah. That's exactly right.
So basically, instead of humans trying to, like, design everything,
Yeah.
we can just describe what we're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And the AI can find simulations that match.
Right.
So it's kind of like having a superpowered research assistant
Yeah.
that can explore a million possibilities all at once.
It's really a game changer, you know? We
Yeah.
can be pushing past the limits of like human imagination
Yeah.
when it comes to understanding complex systems.
Okay, so I'm already hooked, but let's back up for a sec. For someone who's maybe hearing about artificial life for the first time,
Mm-hmm.
how would you explain it?
Well, you can think of artificial life, or ALife for short, as a way to study how complexity arises from like simple rules.
Okay.
It's not necessarily about like replicating life exactly as we see it on Earth,
Right.
but more about exploring the fundamental principles
Ah.
that could lead to complex behavior
Yeah.
in any system.
Okay. So it's less about making a digital copy of Earth
Right.
and more about understanding the core ingredients
Yeah.
of how complexity emerges.
Exactly. Like a classic example is Conway's Game of Life,
Right.
where you have just a few simple rules about cells on a grid, and it creates these amazingly complex patterns. You know,
You wouldn't believe it.
it is mind-blowing how much complexity can come from such simple beginnings.
Yeah.
So traditionally, how have researchers gone about finding these interesting ALife simulations? Well, honestly, it's been a lot of trial and error.
Really?
Researchers would tweak the rules of a simulation,
Okay.
run it, see what happens.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of like searching for a needle in a haystack.
Right.
You could easily miss something amazing because the possibilities are almost endless.
Okay, I can see how that would be incredibly time-consuming and frustrating.
Yeah.
So where does this new research with AI come in?
Well, this is where things get really interesting.
Okay.
This paper introduces a system called ASAL,
Okay.
which stands for Automated Search for Artificial Life,
Yep.
and it utilizes what are called foundation models.
Okay, hold on. Foundation models. That
Yeah.
sounds pretty high tech.
It-
What are those exactly?
well, think of it like the AI behind ChatGPT.
Oh, okay.
But instead of understanding language, it understands images.
Uh-huh.
So in this case, the foundation models are analyzing the visual output of the simulations.
So it's like this AI can look at the simulations and judge how well they match what the researchers are looking for.
Precisely.
Okay.
Researchers can describe what they want to see in plain English,
Uh-huh.
and ASL can evaluate the simulations based on those descriptions.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's a huge leap forward because
Yeah.
it lets us search for ALife simulations in a way that was never possible before.
Right.
You know?
It's like giving the AI a shopping list for the kind of life forms you want to see.
Right, exactly.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I'm really curious to hear more about how this actually works.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
ASL has three main ways of finding these really cool ALife simulations.
Yeah.
Each one kind of approaches the search in a different way.
Okay, 3 different ways. That sounds intriguing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the first way is called supervised target,
Okay.
and it's like giving the AI a specific treasure map
Uh-huh.
and saying, find me a simulation that looks like this.
Okay.
So for example, researchers could say, find me a simulation where cells split in two. And ASL would sift through tons of possibilities to find the ones that match.
So it's like saying, I want to see a world where life spreads through cell division. And the AI goes and finds a simulation that does exactly that.
Exactly. And the AI can analyze a huge number of simulations very quickly,
Right.
making the search much more efficient.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm ready for search mode number 2.
All right. So the second approach is called open-endedness.
Okay.
And it's less about looking for a specific outcome
Mhm.
and more about rewarding the AI for finding simulations that are constantly surprising us.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it's like saying, show me something I've never seen before.
Right. So it's all about embracing the unexpected
Yeah,
and letting the AI kind of lead us to completely new discoveries.
that's right.
So the AI is basically rewarded for coming up with the
Yeah.
weirdest and most creative simulations possible.
You got it.
Okay.
It pushes ASL to explore, uncharted territory
Mm.
and potentially uncover simulations that humans might never have thought of on their own.
This is already blowing my mind,
Good.
but I can't wait to hear about the third search mode.
All right, the third one is called illumination.
Okay.
And instead of looking for just one like perfect simulation,
Uh,
it's about finding a whole collection of simulations
okay.
that showcase the diversity of a life.
Got it.
It's like imagine exploring an alien planet and finding all sorts of, bizarre and wonderful life forms.
Yeah. So instead of looking for a needle in a haystack, we're asking the AI to show us the whole haystack,
Exactly.
to reveal the full spectrum of what's possible.
Precisely. Yeah, we're using AI to map out the vast landscape of artificial life
Right.
and discover all the amazing forms it can take.
This is also fascinating, but I have to ask, did ASL actually find anything interesting?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, and to understand the significance of what ASL found,
No.
we need to talk about this concept of substrates in a life.
Okay. Substrates. That sounds like a new term.
It is, yeah.
Break it down for me.
Okay, so think of a substrate like the canvas for an artist.
Okay.
It provides the basic building blocks and the rules,
Okay.
but the actual artwork, in this case, the specific forms of a life, can vary dramatically depending on the substrate used.
So different substrates, different possibilities.
Exactly.
Got it. Now tell me about some of ASL's amazing discoveries.
Okay, well, ASL was tested on several ALife substrates,
Okay.
and the results were truly remarkable.
Okay.
For instance, ASL discovered new patterns in simulations of boids.
Right.
Those simulated flocks of birds we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
And these patterns were more complex than anything humans had designed before.
Wait, so the AI found completely new behaviors
Yeah.
in a system we thought we already understood.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's incredible.
It really highlights the potential of ASL to uncover hidden complexities,
Right.
even in familiar ALife systems. And that's just the beginning.
Okay, now I'm really on the edge of my seat.
Yeah.
What else did ASL find?
ASL also discovered cellular automata,
Oh, okay.
which are similar to Conway's game of life,
Right.
that exhibit open-endedness.
Okay.
This means they just keep evolving and creating new patterns seemingly forever.
Whoa. It's like these simple systems have a mind of their own.
It does kind of seem that way, doesn't it?
This is seriously mind-blowing.
It is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And it suggests that there's still so much we don't know
Yeah.
about even these, relatively simple ALife systems.
This is all so fascinating, but why does all this matter in the bigger picture?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Like, why should our listeners care?
Yeah, why should our listeners care about this AI that's searching for artificial life?
Well, for starters, it has huge potential for science.
Okay.
This has the potential to completely change how we approach research in fields like biology, evolution, complex systems.
Uh-huh.
Think about it. We could use ASL to test out theories about how life arises and evolves.
Right.
All without having to wait millions of years
Yeah.
for things to play out in the real world.
So it's like having a fast forward button for evolution.
Exactly.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
But what about applications beyond science?
Sure.
Could this technology impact our everyday lives?
Absolutely. Yeah. Imagine video games that design themselves,
Okay.
constantly evolving, creating new challenges.
Okay.
Or what about art that's never static,
Wow.
always changing and adapting to the viewer?
That's wild.
Yeah, the possibilities are really quite mind-boggling.
It's like stepping into a world that's constantly changing and adapting around you.
Yeah.
Pretty mind-blowing.
It is.
And to think, all this is powered by an AI that's essentially an art critic on steroids.
That's a good way to put it.
But beyond entertainment,
Yeah,
are there other practical applications we might see?
absolutely. Think about personalized educational simulations that can adapt to your learning style,
Mhm.
or virtual worlds that evolve based on the collective actions of their inhabitants.
Okay.
We could even use this technology to model complex systems like
Yeah.
economies or climates.
Okay, now we're talking about some seriously impactful possibilities.
Yeah.
Personalized education, evolving virtual worlds,
Mm-hmm.
and even tools to help us understand complex global systems.
Right?
This is huge.
It is.
But with any powerful technology, there's always a flip side.
Sure.
Are there any potential downsides or risks that we should be thinking about?
That's a great question,
Yeah.
and one we should definitely be asking as this technology develops. One potential concern is that, well, one thing to consider is how we ensure, responsible use.
Right.
Like, imagine if someone used ASAL to create simulations that were, I don't know, misleading or even harmful.
Yeah, that's a scary thought.
Yeah.
Like giving someone a tool to create their own kind of like distorted version of reality.
Exactly. So it's important to think about, how we can prevent misuse and ensure this technology is used for good.
So it's not just about the technology itself,
Right.
but the safeguards and guidelines we put in place around it.
Right.
Are there any other challenges you foresee?
Well, another interesting challenge is the sheer amount of data ASL generates. Like
Right.
sifting through all those simulations to find the truly interesting ones
Yeah.
can be like trying to find a needle in a haystack.
Right.
A very, very large haystack.
So we need like better tools
Yeah,
to help researchers make sense of all that data.
absolutely. And we need ways to visualize and communicate those findings effectively
Uh-huh.
so people can, understand and appreciate the discoveries being made.
It sounds like there's a whole new field of research opening up
Yeah.
around how to analyze and interpret the data from these ALife simulations.
Exactly, and that's what's so exciting about this field, It's
Yeah.
not just about the technology itself,
Right.
but all the new questions and possibilities it opens up.
As we wrap up this deep dive,
Okay.
what's the one big takeaway you want our listeners to walk away with?
I'd say the biggest takeaway is that, we're on the verge of a major shift in how we understand and interact with complex systems.
Okay.
ASLL and similar technologies have the potential to, accelerate scientific discovery
Wow.
and unlock creative possibilities we can only begin to imagine.
It's like we're handing the keys to the universe to an AI and saying, show us what you can find.
Right.
It's both exciting and a little daunting at the same time.
Absolutely. And it's a reminder that we need to approach these powerful new technologies with a sense of responsibility and wonder.
Well said to all our listeners out there. If you could describe the perfect life simulation, what would it be? What would you ask the AI to find? Let us know on social media or just ponder it yourself, because as we've seen today, the possibilities are truly endless.
And with that, we conclude our deep dive into the world of automated artificial life.
Thanks for joining us.
Well, one potential concern is that, like I was saying, someone could use ASL to create simulations that were misleading or even harmful.
Yeah, it's like giving someone a tool to create their own distorted version of reality. That's kind of scary.
Exactly. So it's important to think about how we can prevent misuse
Right.
and ensure that this technology is used ethically, for good.
So it's not just about the technology itself.
Right.
It's also about the safeguards, the guidelines that we put in place around it.
Exactly.
Yeah, are there any other challenges you foresee?
Another interesting challenge is just the sheer amount of data that ASL generates.
Okay.
I mean, sifting through all those simulations to find the truly interesting ones.
Right.
It can be like searching for a needle in a haystack, but like
Yeah.
a very, very large haystack.
Right. So we need like better tools to help researchers make sense of all that data.
Absolutely. We need better tools for analysis.
Right.
We need ways to visualize and communicate those findings effectively
Okay.
so that people can understand and appreciate the discoveries that are being made.
It sounds like there's a whole new field of research opening up
Yeah.
around how to analyze and interpret the data
Yeah.
from these ALife simulations.
Exactly. And that's what's so exciting about this field.
Yeah.
It's not just about the technology itself.
Right.
It's about all the new questions and possibilities that it opens up.
As we wrap up this deep dive,
Okay.
what's the one big takeaway you want our listeners to walk away with?
I think the biggest takeaway is that we're really on the verge of a major shift
Uh-huh.
in how we understand and interact with complex systems.
Yeah.
ASL and these similar technologies have the potential to accelerate scientific discovery
Right.
and unlock creative possibilities that we can only begin to imagine.
It's like we're handing the keys to the universe to an AI and saying, show us what you can find.
That's a great way to put it.
It's both exciting and a little daunting at the same time.
Absolutely. And it's a reminder that we need to approach these powerful new technologies responsibly and
Right.
with a sense of wonder.
Well said to all our listeners out there. If you could describe the perfect ALife simulation, what would it be? What would you ask the AI to find? Let us know on social media or just ponder it yourself, because as we've seen today, the possibilities are truly endless.
And with that, we conclude our deep dive into the world of automated artificial life. Thanks for joining us.